What's going on, Jerome's? So it's a copycat league, and the Kansas City Chiefs are officially a dynasty. Well, they kind of were a dynasty to begin with, but back-to-back Super Bowls, going for 3 in a row for Mike Yo. Won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, so it's pretty damn good. But yes, all the glory goes to Mahomes and whatnot, but that Chiefs defense was legit special this year, and Steve Spagnuolo coordinating. By the way, the youngest defense in the NFL. So that's pretty damn amazing. And yes, Andy Reid was right. How about that D, baby? It's fitting for a day like today. But, Steve Spagnuolo, respect. He's one of the best defensive minds in NFL history. Architect of both of those Giants defenses that won the Super Bowl. And, I mean, it's time with the Rams as a head coach. The Rams were just bad to begin with. But he is really establishing himself as one of the best defensive coaches in NFL history. I mean, just look at this run. Just look at this run in the playoffs. So 7 points allowed to Miami, which was the cat's ass. Yes, weather was a factor in that game. But going up to Buffalo, 24, a little bit of a shootout. But Ravens, the number 1 offense in the league, in their building, 10. And then you shut the San Francisco down to 22, but really 19 in regulation, an average of 15.75 points per game, which is... Carry the 1. It's good. It's pretty damn good. So, the problem is that the Vikings defense over the last couple of years, 2022, definitely not so much. And then last year under Flores, yes, he did start getting things together, but there's still a lot of improvement, and it's not just personnel, but a big part of it is personnel. But I mean, that Chiefs defense, man, it goes beyond just, hey, draft good players and have them play well. There is some of that too. But their construction, the way that they've manufactured an edge rush with George Karlaftis out of Purdue in the first round, bring in a guy like Charles Omenihu before he got hurt. Mike Dana was a late round pick coming out of Michigan / was he Central Michigan too? Well, I'll say that's what it is. They built the middle of that defense with a great linebacking core. The back end is fantastic, too. So, I mean, you have to respect what they've done. And it really hasn't been just signing big-name free agents. Like Justin Reed and, to a degree, Omenihu are really the only big-ticket free agents. Now, yes, they've had, like, Honey Badger and stuff cycle through in previous years. But what Brett Veach and company have done is they've really built through the draft, and they've taken care of the right guys, namely Chris Jones, although he's going to leave in free agency. But his best years are probably behind him. But I think it's just amazing what they've done. So there are a bunch of lessons to take away from the Chiefs that the Vikings need to implement and really rebuild that defense. Number 1, that interior pressure. So yes, it does all come down to who? Chris Jones. And you could say, yeah, it's really easy. It's really easy to have a good defense when you have one of a top 2 defensive interior. And it might not be 2 at this stage of their respective careers, but with Jones, 91 pressures, 10.5 sacks this year. That's with also him sitting out the first game. Kind of crazy, man. But, second-round pick, securing him to a long-term deal, getting the best out of him during his prime years. I mean, that was huge. Absolutely huge. Also, in terms of building through the draft, I mean, Jones was the only player on the Chiefs that had a top 5 cap hit for them this year, because you look at Mahomes, you look at Kelsey, you look at Thuney, etc. I mean, Jones... Basically, it's Jones and a bunch of guys on either cheap free agent deals or rookie deals, and that's pretty damn important. Number 2, lockdown corners. Now, yes, it's really easy to say, hey, just draft good corners, but I mean, for whatever reason, cornerback has really been a blind spot for the Vikings. You look at Mike Hughes, you look at Jeff Gladney, rest in power. You look at Caleb Evans, apparently. You look at Andrew Booth Jr. Just something's been missing. And it's been really rough. But for Kansas City, they've been able to really build on mid-round draft picks. And that's the thing, too, where if you have Mahomes, Mahomes on a $500 million contract, you had Tyreek Hill, who was going to take up a significant portion of the cap. You have Kelsey on a premium contract. You have Jones on a premium contract. You have Joe Thuney on a premium deal. I mean, not a lot of cash to spread around, so you have to hit on these draft picks. And them getting L'Jarius Sneed in the 4th round in 2020, as well as McDuffie at the back end of the 1st round in 2022, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. That's scouting. That's good scouting. That's Brett Veach making great decisions. That's the board falling sort of lucky McDuffie falling to 22, or not 22, but back into the first round. Also, the making sure that guys fit in your scheme. Now, I do think that the Vikings, to a degree, are starting to turn the page, because you notice that last year, 2022, but 2023, when Flores is in the building and had a say in that draft room, you see getting a guy like Mekhi Blackmon in the third round. I think that he's going to be very good moving forward. I think that Jay Ward will eventually get in. I think Jaquelin Roy will eventually get in. Wooing Ivan Pace Jr. as a UDFA and having him start right away and be a de facto captain out there, I think is also very important. And next up, number 3, off ball. Speaking of linebackers, so off ball is extremely important. And what the Chiefs have done is they have sunk a lot of capital into that middle of the defense. Now, before, off ball had been seen as a non-sexy position, but you look at the Ravens with Queen and Smith. You look at the Niners with Greenlaw. It's really unfortunate what happened with Greenlaw. Frankly, I think if Greenlaw stays healthy, I think that the 49ers win. But Werner in San Francisco, and you look at Kansas City, off-ball linebacker is extremely important. Now, Willie Gay and Nick Bolton. Speaking of Willie Gay, him at the Super Bowl parade. That's so shirtless, shoeless, and also with a bottle of Henny. That's going to be me every single Vikings game if we land Jaden Daniels. That's what's going to happen, man. But investing into that second level. So Willie Gay, second-round pick. Nick Bolton, second-round pick. Leo Chenal, out of stupid Wisconsin, third-round pick 2 years ago. Chenal might have been the hero of the Super Bowl. So a couple big tackles as well as that blocked PA team. Also, Drew Tranquil, heart and hustle guy, former Notre Dame dude coming in from the Chargers. So that's a smart free agent acquisition. You can that's pretty analogous to Jordan Hicks, as well as investing in that position. Now, the Vikings have certainly tried to do that, where Hicks was a smart value signing. Pace Jr., UDFA, obviously, but also Asama, but also Troy Dye, but also whatever. I think the Vikings, if Asama could stay healthy, and I think maybe they invest a second or fourth round pick in off ball again this year, I think they could be on the right track there. Also, the fact that they put so much on the plates of those middle linebackers as well, and it's important in today's modern NFL that they can have range to cover as well as stop the run. Next up, number 4, invest hit on your draft picks. Now, of course, this is easy. It's like, just draft good guys, blah blah blah. But I mean, look at this draft class. I mean, the Chiefs 2022 class won them the Super Bowl. I mean, it helped really build up that great defense. So you got McDuffie at 21 in the first round. You got jumping George Karlaftis at the back end of the first as well. So you have 2 key contributors right there. You have an absolute stud, shutdown inside outside cornerback, as well as their top edge rusher in the Greek Freak there. Cook, but Chenal in the third, and then you got Watson, who's contributing in the 7th round. I mean, that's huge. And also you get Pacheco in the 7th. That's really, really, really damn good. So, yes, I mean, you could say that the Vikings, I mean, I do just wish that the 2022 class would step up, whether it's Lewis Cine, whether it's Andrew Booth Jr., whether it's a Caleb Evans, whatever. I mean, the 2022 class for the Vikings, if they would have stepped up, I mean, it would have been a bonanza. Absolutely would have, but maybe not so much right now. Lastly, keep your coordinator. So Steve Spagnuolo, he's been with Andy Reid forever. Like, he was part of his initial staff with the Eagles. He moved his way on up. Eventually became DC of the Giants. But they go way back like chiropractic. And he's been the Chiefs' defensive coordinator since 2019. And also recently been reported that he's been extended. I actually do think that Andy Reid is going to go for the three-peat, and if they hit it, I think that he'll retire, and I think Spagnuolo may be head coach in waiting. But continuity and competency, that's really important. And the Chiefs have had that on both sides of the ball, with Andy Reid obviously on offense, and last couple of years with Spagnuolo on defense. So I think that's something that's going to be really important, and hopefully the Vikings can get something like that with Brian Flores, where, right, wrong, or otherwise, Flores, it doesn't seem like his head coaching prospects are extremely hot at the moment, but getting Flores an infusion of talent as well as so also something you notice that the Chiefs don't do is that they don't spend stupid open market free agency money. Now the Vikings, The black mark is certainly Marcus Davenport, the 1 year, $13 million deal. That definitely set things back a little bit, but smart value free agents. Murphy Jr. was a great pickup. Hicks was a fantastic pickup as well. Harrison Phillips, obviously previous regime, but a great signing as well. So I think that's what the Vikings have to do, especially if they have some other premium contracts, whether it's JJ, potentially bringing back Kirko as well as Daniil. I mean, you got to hit on your draft picks. You have to invest in your defense with those draft picks, especially in the front seven. And also, I mean, you have to make smart free agency moves. And so I understand that this comes off as a duh, obviously, but the Vikings haven't done it, and the Chiefs have definitely done that with aplomb over the last couple of years. So hopefully that's something that the Vikings can do for Flores. And, I mean, the Vikings offense is going to be good. Knocking on wood if people stay healthy and getting an influx of talent and getting the right guys that Flores wants for his scheme moving forward. I think the Vikings got a chance. I think the Vikings do have themselves a good chance as they're having that competitive rebuild. The Vikings are going to be one of the younger teams in the league next year, especially if Kirk leaves and if Harrison retires or signs in Dallas with Zimmer or something. So who knows that spot. But, I mean, you do have to respect what the Chiefs have done. Obviously, it's pretty easy with one of the greatest head coaches in NFL history, in Andy Reid, and a guy who is rapidly approaching GOAT status in Patrick Mahomes. But that defense, you have to give a ton of respect to what that. How about that D, baby? That's right. That's right, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. What the Vikings can learn from the Chiefs defense, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, Production Value.